All right, so I'm here checking out this 1974 Corvette. This thing is actually pretty straight. Looks pretty rust-free. I mean, it's a fiberglass body, so really only concerned about the frame down here. Looks pretty good. Interior is good, not great. Definitely some work to do there. The guy's asking $12,500. I think I'll probably take it if I can get it for around, I don't know, maybe 10,000. These tires are ridiculous. Gotta get rid of those.
In the rallies, there are, I think this 300.
Welcome back to another episode of No Bolts Left Behind. And today's a very special day. It's new project car day. Behind me, I have my new 1974 Corvette Stingray Convertible. I'm up here on a rooftop in the middle of downtown Long Beach. I feel like I had to get out of the garage for this introduction. I'm pretty excited about this project. Let me take you back to earlier today, and I'll show you where I bought this car. All right, after a long time negotiating, I just bought this 1974 Corvette convertible for $9,950. The guy told me it runs, and it seemed okay on the very brief test drive we did, so let's see if it gets me home. I have about an hour and a half drive through LA traffic, so I'm a little nervous. Here goes nothing. Tiny bit of muffler surrounding it. It steers pretty good, more or less straight. The engine is all right. I think maybe the carburetor needs a tune-up or whatever you do with carburetors. I'll check back in a little bit. All right, still doing good. Hitting a little bit of traffic, and she's getting a little hot, but we're not in crisis mode yet. Hopefully this traffic will chill out a bit once we get through downtown LA. I think we're gonna make it. Now I know what you're thinking, Barry, Mr. No Bolts, whatever you call me. Why did you buy a third American vintage V8 muscle car? And the answer should be pretty obvious. I already modern engine swapped to Dodge. I've modern engine swapped a Ford. So obviously I needed to complete the set. All right, enough talking. Let's check out the car. All right, so of course there's another reason why I went with a 1974, and that's because of California smog laws. Basically, if you have a car that's 1976 or newer, you gotta get like a full emissions check every 2 years. And if you get a car that's 1975 and older, You do not have to get any sort of inspections done. So obviously this plays a huge part in my model year choice, and that's why I ended up with the 1974. I also really wanted a convertible, so this kind of checked a lot of boxes off the list. Maybe you don't agree with me, but a Corvette isn't a muscle car, it's a legit sports car. So, you know, we have independent rear suspension back here, the famous single leaf. There you go. The sideways leaf with the independent rear suspension, which makes it a lot better handling than my Challenger, and definitely a lot better than my Mustang. So this might actually be kind of a cool little track car. It's going to be fast, but it's also going to be fast around the corners. Now, obviously one of the first things I got to fix are these crazy roller skate wheels I got going on here. In the front we have a 265, and in the back we have a 295, which is crazy, and it's popping out like pretty much the size of my hand there, much like a roller skate. So that's definitely going to be the first thing I'll replace. Hopefully I'll get some money for these real legitimate centerline weld wheels. I think these are pretty special. And obviously the interior needs a little bit of help as well. I've actually already removed the old door panels because every time I would open and close the door, it would get caught and it was driving me crazy. So those are gone, and I'll get some replacements. In fact, I think I'm gonna redo the entire interior black. I do like the tan interior, but I think the black interior is gonna stay a little bit cleaner. So I'll be tearing all of this out when we do our engine swap. And speaking of engines, this thing has it does have a V8. This thing has a small block 350, which is pretty cool. Definitely sounds very loud, and it's not very fast. It's got headers, that's good. It runs okay. Definitely requires some sort of like carburetor adjustment, as every carburetor does. It looks like we got some air conditioning stuff that's missing. Let's see, I got a new radiator, that's pretty cool. We have power disc brakes all around actually. I haven't checked behind there, but I'm assuming there are disc brakes on all four corners because I think all Corvettes of this era came with disc brakes from the factory, so that's going to save us some time. But obviously this old engine and transmission is going to go, and I will be LS swapping this guy. I haven't picked out my make and model yet, but I'll definitely be doing the donor car route, so I'll be buying something like maybe a SUV or maybe some sort of car if I can find one cheap enough. We're going to tear that thing apart, and we're going to swap in the full drivetrain in this thing. All right, let's start this guy up. All right, runs pretty good. Oh, we're dying. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, it runs pretty good. It's got a pretty serious exhaust leak. I'm guessing right where it always leaks, right here in the headers. But otherwise, this engine seems actually pretty good. So hopefully I'll be able to resell this guy and it'll find a new home in some sort of old Chevrolet or something. Same with the transmission, it actually shifts pretty good. The exhaust is a problem. I just have two cherry bombs, which is really pretty obnoxious. Very loud. So I'll definitely be doing some exhaust work. I'll put in some normal people mufflers, especially being a convertible. I think it'll change the experience of this car. But otherwise, this thing actually is running and driving. So for now, we can drive this thing around until we find our donor car and maybe work on some of this other stuff. So obviously I took off the rain cover, as my Corvette owning grandpa used to call it, the convertible hardtop, which I think is pretty cool that it came with one, but it does have a soft top, which is no surprise, an absolutely terrible condition. We do not have a rear window anymore, and got some good repairs here, some good duct tape repairs, but unfortunately duct tape only lasts so long. So we'll have to do a new top, and looks like we got some goodies back there. Got some visors, and we do have new carpet. So I got a good head start. I don't know if I'll be able to use that stuff, but I guess we'll see. Now, I know one important place to look for rust on a Corvette, which is almost entirely fiberglass, but there is a little, what they call a bird cage, and I actually found one in pretty good condition. A little bit of surface rust over there, nothing too serious. Same thing over on this side. A little bit of surface rust, but definitely no like crazy structural rust or anything like that. The rear frame is good. Everything's actually really good down here. All right, so there's a quick little overview of the car, and we'll take this back to the garage and get it up on blocks, and we'll check out if there's any other issues underneath the car, or I guess we'll see how many other issues it has underneath the car. So I think the plan for this one is to dive right into the engine swap. I want to double the power, quadruple the reliability, probably double the gas mileage, and all on a crazy, crazy low budget. So I hope you'll join me on this adventure. Make sure to subscribe. And obviously there's one last thing I gotta do. We gotta see if this thing will do a burnout with those giant rear tires. And then leave really quickly before I get in trouble.